special guest or two. My sister Ariel and her son Tristan. So if you hear baby crying in the background, it's just Tristan because he's fighting his nap. So let's get started. The first thing you always do when you are baking or cooking anything is wash your hands. So I'm going to start off by doing that real quick. Take my rings off today because this is going to be a recipe where I stick my hands in the dough. So set my rings to the side, and like I said, this is going to be a video where we're baking scones. They're going to be classic scones, so there's not going to be anything added to them. It's just a regular sweet scone that I like to eat when I'm drinking my tea or coffee in the morning. And this is not a recipe that I've made up or anything. This is a Betty Crocker recipe that I found online, bettycrocker.com. So I'll link that below for you guys if you wanted to take a look at the recipe. I'm going to preheat the oven to 400 degrees and then we'll get started with our ingredients. So while the oven is preheating, let's get things mixed up. We are going to start off with the flour, which I've got right here. And this is a new bag because I was out of flour at home, so you know you can say things right. This is Ariel's first video with me. Alright, so we're going to do a cup and 3/4. So there's the 3/4. Okay, and from there I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of sugar. Which again, it's a new bag because I was totally out of sugar. Yeah. Whoa, sugar's flying everywhere. We're also going to stir in some baking powder, 2½ teaspoons. Which I've got here. Target. All of the containers that I got for my baking supplies are from Target. This is an OXO. It's like one of those you put it on and you click it and it snaps shut and it's like airtight, so it's really nifty. And they're nice and stackable too. I've got a couple of them for my smaller ingredients, 2½, right? Yes. Almost there. Okay, so we've got that, and then we're also going to do ½ teaspoon of salt. Oh, that container smells funny. Okay, and I'm just going to I've got a fork out here, so I'm just going to stir all of that together really fast. Get it all mixed up. Okay, so now I'm going to take my stick of butter and we're going to cut in 1/3 of a cup of butter. Which most butters have like that nifty little thing on there. So that's like right
to measure.
Yeah, to measure how much butter you need, and it's got it measured out by like tablespoons. And then underneath, this one has how many tablespoons are in a half a cup, how many tablespoons are in a quarter cup, and how many tablespoons are in a third of a cup. So that's how I'm measuring today. It's got a little soft. Now we're going to take our fork and spray flour all over everywhere. But with this, when you cut it in and you use a fork, you want to mix it into the flour just so it gets nice and crumbly. Looks kind of like crumbs. Is he sneezing or coughing? And I'm actually going to probably going to use my hands a little bit too in this. I use my hands a lot when I'm baking, which is why the first thing I do is always to wash them. Because, you know, germs and such. We're going to like work off and just...
I made apple crisp the other day, and you were supposed to use like a pastry blender.
Pastry cutter?
Pastry cutter to put the butter in. I didn't have one, so I used fork.
I usually just, like I said, I usually use my hands, but because this is supposed to just be crumbly, I'll mix it enough to where it starts to look nice and crumbly, and then maybe I'll go back in with the fork a little bit. A couple of friends of mine that I've baked with before for like bake sales for when I was in college always made fun of me because I never really used like an electric mixer. I usually just use my hands, or I'd use a spoon, or sometimes like it with a floury mixture, I'll use like a whisk instead to get everything all stirred together. But I don't like to use an electric mixer because a lot of times, especially with cakes or cupcakes or cookies, it's really easy with an electric mixer to over mix your dough or your batter. So like I said, I usually use my my hands, or I'll use a spoon or something like that. So this is the consistency right now. We've got a nice crumbly mix of the dough and stuff, the flour and the butter and everything. So you can just let them cry a little, fuss it out a little bit if you need to. Okay.
I know his chest is just so much.
I was gonna say, I guess TJ is gonna be in the video with us because he doesn't wanna be away from us, huh? They know. All right. So now that we've got a nice mixture of fine crumbliness, we're going to grab another bowl real fast. So we're going to grab another bowl, and I've got my egg here, and we're going to put the egg in the bowl, and we're going to beat it so the yolk and the egg whites are all mixed together. I do not need this. I need this. Did you just burp again?
It's been all over.
Maybe that's why he was fussing. We just gave him a bottle before the video, so. Was it? You burped really good for me. Okay. So now I'm going to add this to the mixture of flour and butter. And I'm going to use a half teaspoon and add some vanilla. One of the things our mom always said when we were baking together was when you're measuring out ingredients, always do it over the bowl, because if you get a little bit extra in the bowl, it really doesn't matter. because it's all just gonna get mixed in. You can always add a tiny bit of something, like a wet ingredient if you need to. Oh crap! I'm doing this off of my iPad, and my iPad keeps closing down on me. So, all right. So now I've got my whipping cream, which has not been opened. So give me a second while I do that real quick. And then we're gonna start, it says 4 to 6 tablespoons of whipping cream, so we're gonna start off with 4 tablespoons. And then Ariel, did you want to try and mix this in with the fork?
Let me wash my hands.
Okay. That must have been it. His belly must have been upset. Alright, got the fork. Start off with 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons. Oops, sorry, I need to drip some on you.
Girl, I told you, ever since I became a mom, everything's an accessory.
So that was 4 tablespoons. We're just going to mix that up a little bit.
How's it looking?
It looks, it's supposed to form a soft dough.
I think
That's
you need more
more,
butter with
yeah.
it.
You can kind of smell it though. It smells nice and sweet. Do we need to mix it with our hands?
Sure, you go ahead and do it.
Alright.
There you go.
I said I use my hands a lot and when I'm baking. Okay, get this all mixed up. And then the next thing we're going to do when this is all blended together is we're going to sprinkle some, I'm going to grab the cutting board that I set aside over here and we're going to sprinkle some flour and we're going to knead the dough a little bit and work it into shape that we want. Oh, this isn't the same recipe I use, and I can tell because I feel like it's taking longer to get everything to form into the dough. And I'm making a huge mess. A huge mess, which isn't surprising because I usually make a big mess when I'm cooking or baking. But this is a little excessive. Alright. That looks good, right?
Sure, it's like a dough.
Looks like a dough. I'm gonna close up the whipping cream and throw it in the fridge real quick. Just gonna sit out for a little bit. And throw some of that stuff in the sink. Oops. And I'm actually gonna grab that cutting board. Grab the cutting board. And take some flour. Sprinkle it on the surface. Pull this out. And it says to knead the dough by folding it. And then we're going to turn it. I am not a professional baker by any means. So if I'm doing this wrong, feel free to leave a comment underneath. Give me some tips, guys, because this, I'm definitely an amateur baker. But I like to bake cookies and cakes and stuff like that, and it's probably why I gained 30 pounds in college, because baking was my stress release, basically. It's starting to feel springy and smooth like it said it would, so that's good.
How long are you supposed to do this?
10 times. I think that's like 8. Oops. it on here. And we're going to, now we're gonna roll this out now that I've done the kneading. So I kneaded the dough, folding it 10 different times and moving it around. So I've got like this nice springy dough ball is what the recipe says it would be. So I'm gonna roll it out a little bit. Now I know why they wanted you to put it on the baking sheet. Let me grab a baking sheet real fast. Hold on just a second. I was not prepared for this, wasn't I?
She making all that noise?
Yeah, I'm making all kinds of noise on TJ.
She's making so much noise. Huh.
Alright. So now I'm going to take my knife, and I'm actually going to wipe it off a little bit real quick. Take my knife and I'm going to cut this into 8 wedges, but it says not to separate. And then I'm going to take a tablespoon of the whipping cream that I just put away. I'm just going to guesstimate that that's about a tablespoon, right? You have a brush.
They haven't lived here
Here we go.
so many years.
This is not a pastry brush. This is, I think, a barbecue brush. But I'll do the same thing. Brush a little bit of that on the scones. Then we're going to sprinkle some of the, some sugar on top of these. Because, as you can see, I'm very professional at this. Alright, so we've got our scones. This is what they look like right now. So this is before baking. I'm going to pop these in the oven for about 15 minutes and we'll get back to you guys and we'll show you the Okay, so we've got our finished product here, and as you can see, I kind of tore a couple off. We left them in that circle, so now the recipe, we let these cool off a little bit too. Whoa. As you can see, they're kind of breaking apart by themselves, but you get that nice rough edge on the side like you would like if you got these at like a bakery or something. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Cheers. Very good.
Mm-hmm. They're sweet, but not too sweet.
Good with the cup of coffee in the morning. Make things for Chris. If you wanted to be fancy or something.
Yeah, right.
So that's all for today, for today's video. Hit that like button if you liked this video. Feel free to comment below and subscribe for more videos like this. We'll do a couple more baking ones now that it's starting to cool off. Leave comments below on what kinds of baking videos you'd like to see, and feel free to join us next time for our tea chat video, where we will be trying some different fall time teas again, because there's a lot of them out there. So, have a good night, everybody. Bye.